The first week of the trip, we'd been heading towards Le Mont Saint-Michel. You can sort of see it in the background here. It's pretty nice. You should watch the last video if you want to. Next up, we were going to head towards Liliana's hometown of Vendôme, where she spent most of her youth and teenage years. To get there, we were going to go south towards Nantes and then head along the Loire Valley, which is a big famous cycling route in France. It's full of picturesque towns, and luckily for us, it meant that we'd get a chance to catch up with some friends who we hadn't seen in a while. First up, we spent the evening with Melanie and Morgan. We'd actually lived in the same city in Brest when Liliana was studying there, and then I moved to Brest for about 6 months. It feels like a million years ago living in Brest, and it's something I don't really think about much, but it was a great evening catching up with old friends. The next day we had our first chill day, which was lovely. There's a chicken here terrorising me in my tent. And then later on we went to Fougères, where we spent the day walking about a castle. The weather wasn't amazing, but again, it was just cool to hang out with friends. And we had a nice dinner later on as well. After that, we set out towards Rennes, where we'd meet our first Warm Showers host. Warm Showers is basically like couch surfing for bike tours. It has a terrible name, but it's something I definitely recommend. Often the host will give you good tips and places to cycle, and it's something that you can do as well later on when you're home. You can host cyclists and sort of give back in the same way. It's a good way to save a bit of money, but often we would end up going out for dinner and spending more money than we probably would on a campsite, but it definitely adds to the experience having a local person to like host you and show you about. I really enjoyed visiting Rennes. It has a really nice buzz about it. Loads of students, loads of people, loads of bars, all good things. It's good to have lots of bars in your town and a university. After that, we decided we'd take a train to Nantes. Some people might say that taking a train is like cheating, but those people should just shut up, because there was like not a lot to see in between and we had to make up some time, and the train was really cheap and I have no regrets. We met up with Sandrine and John, had some more catching up, great food, drinking cider from a bowl. It's very underestimated things, drinking cider from a bowl. It's a bit impractical, but I would highly recommend that you partake in this activity. Now that we were on the Loire River, we would head out east towards Tours, where we would then get off of it to go to Vendôme. Luckily for us, since it was off season, the routes were nice and quiet, and although there was the odd old couple like zooming about on electric bikes, which seemed to be all the rage, we pretty much had most of it to ourselves. The weather was a bit of a downer, but it is so picturesque and I can see why it's such a popular route to cycle on. Oh, hello! We are on the Loire Valley now. It's been not such great weather the last couple of days, or yesterday mainly. It was raining like all day. It's still raining a little bit, so that's been a bit sad, but considering we've had like 2 weeks of sunshine, there's not really too much to complain about. We stopped near Angers or Angers. We've just been camping at this lake campsite. It's fine. What?
It's great. It's a great campsite.
It is a great campsite actually. There's a swimming pool. Well, the thing is, like, there's loads of great stuff, but we can't use any of it. So there's like a jacuzzi, a swimming pool, badminton net that's covered and stuff. We have this very cool shed that we're in, but because it's been raining and because we're kind of like off season, it's not amazing for us right now.
Talk about the toilets, Ryan.
Yeah, the toilets are great. Toilets are all refurbished, they're all new. They don't have any seats though. There's toilet paper though, which is great. So if you can get toilets with a seat and paper, is like the best. But it doesn't happen very often. Not very early start today. It's 10 to 1 and we're gonna head off quite soon to Saumur, which is about 50 kilometers away. And then the next day we're going to Tours, and then that'll kind of be the end of our trip along the Loire Valley. It's a shame it's been pretty rubbish weather for it because it's so beautiful, but hopefully it's going to clear up in the next few days. And then we're going to be in Vendôme for a while, so lots of chilling out to be had there. And that's about it. That's all I have to say now. See you then. We should really go. It's like It's almost lunchtime.
Yeah, it's holiday.
One of the things in our first few weeks that we started doing was practicing hacky sack as part of our morning routine. As you can see here, we are both absolutely terrible at it, and it didn't really get much better. The plan was that we would spend like 6 months doing this every day as a way to warm up and just as a fun little stupid thing to do, but quite unfortunately we kicked it into a bush not long after this and could never find it again, and that was the end of our hacky sack story. Later that morning, I saw these two German guys and they were getting ready to go on a trip, and one of the guys just had this big smoked sausage and was cutting pieces off of it into his mouth. And that image has stayed with me as a source of disgust and also inspiration. Got 4. That's, I think, a new record.
Twice.
Getting better. Practice every day. We even took one day where we went off into the hills a little bit to go to a vineyard and stocked up on some wine. Yes, it was before midday and I was drinking wine, and no, I didn't spit it out because that's just a waste. Our last stop on the Loire was Tours. I'd visited here a bunch with Lily over the years because she'd actually studied here before we met. We caught up with Lucy and Alex, some good old friends, and again it was just nice to see people and to sort of be leisurely travelling along in France, zigzagging in all sorts of directions. We ended up ordering a pizza that night, which was, well, you know, it was a French pizza, so it wasn't very good. Alright, I just got to jump in here for a second because pizzas in France is a whole thing for me, and it's something I have very, very strong feelings about. France doesn't know how to deal with pizzas. They get everything wrong. You'd think a land full of great cheese and places that can grow lovely tomatoes and bread, hello, like they've got such good bread. But pizzas, ridiculous, right? The base is all wrong. The dough is just wild. It's never like, it doesn't taste like pizza dough, okay? That's the first issue. The cheese is cheese that shouldn't be used on a pizza. You would think that they would find the perfect cheese for pizza, considering how good cheese can be in France, but no. Again, all wrong. The tomato base, you know, fine. It's not the worst in the world, but it's like, it's definitely not good enough. The menus, right? We're talking about sometimes 30 plus options on a pizza menu. How can there be that many options, right? You've got all your kind of like normal ones, and then they just basically go through each one and change out one ingredient and call it a different name. I mean, what are they up to? Also, oregano is not an individual topping. It's a herb that you put on a pizza. Actually, you shouldn't be putting that on a pizza. Like, or it shouldn't be like a main feature of the pizza. It just really, really annoys me. And I've eaten pizzas all over France. It's not specific to one region, right? This is in the Loire Valley, and yeah, pizzas there suck, just as they do in the south, just as they do in the north, just as they do in the east. I have not had a good pizza in France, I don't think, ever. The only place where I've been in, like France, where they had a good pizza was in Corsica, and that's just because they got a whole other thing going on there. Those are good guys. Those are good pizza people. They got the Italian influence. For the rest of France, you know, look to your neighbours, look for help. When you're in doubt and you're doing something clearly wrong, ask for help, right? Because it just isn't working at the moment. Last point here is that it's incredibly expensive to buy pizzas in France. Those 4 pizzas we had there cost 65 euros. 65 euros for pizza that's not good.
Hop, je commence par un petit... Je sais pas comment manger la pizza, mais
Anyway, we headed out the next day towards Vendôme, and I finally satisfied my desire to get a chicken roti. This is a chicken rotisserie. Vouvrae's finest. The cycling was fine, we got to Vendôme in good time, and then the next day we set out super early, basically back towards the river in a car, so that we could go on a hot air balloon trip for Lucy's 30th birthday. I was pretty skeptical about going on a hot air balloon trip just because I'm cheap and it's like well, not cheap to do that sort of thing, but it was actually so much fun and we had such a lovely day for it. There's something about the noise and the heat from the fire that is like quite mesmerizing, and then obviously when it sort of lifts you off the ground, it's such a fun experience, and it's not something that I thought I would enjoy as much as I did, but yeah, it was cool. The people in the basket with us were actually like so dour though, and I thought they were just such downers. Like, cheer up, you're in a hot air balloon, what are you doing? The only thing I'd complain about is that they make you fold it up afterwards. Like, that's not my job, that's your job. Why do we have to help? Well, you know, we paid for this. What's going on? But I suppose it does, you know, many hands make light work, I suppose, or whatever. The plan for us was that we were going to stay in Vendôme for like a few days, but we ended up staying for 11 days. 11 days. I can't really remember all the reasons why we ended up staying for that long, but a big part of it was that we had to order a lot of different pieces of kit. Staying in Vendôme also gave me a chance to catch up with Alex, who I've talked about before if you've seen any of my other videos. He came to visit, we had a lovely day, we went out. I was unfortunately not feeling very well, but I just sort of decided to drink through it, which I did not regret the next day, but I definitely felt it a lot.
I'm being on a Viking view.
Testing my new front bags. Feeling sick because I was sick yesterday and then spent all day drinking. So, you know, here we are with Alex. After much frustration of feeling basically trapped in Liliana's hometown, we decided to head out again back west towards Poitiers, which I realise is totally in the wrong direction, but we were going to visit Liliana's brother's place, and then we would start heading southeast towards Corsica, which was the next big destination. Thank you so much for watching. This was episode 3 of our bike tour video series going from Paris to Athens. So I hope you enjoyed this. I'm finding it really weird to do voiceover stuff, but I'm trying to get better at it, so appreciate any feedback. And please leave a comment and give me a like. It does help a lot for me to get these videos seen a bit more. And if you are enjoying this series and want to keep up to date with it, then please make sure you subscribe. Yes.